What? Billy Bush is back? We don't want any of the Bushes back. The only Bush I want to see is the burning bush. Now, when you back up Trump and you get accused of something like he was, like Billy Bush was, then you gotta know that who's going to show up is Gayle King, because she's got her nose in everything that they think is going to bring the audience. Hey, when you're tired of the news on CBS, NBC, and ABC, come to me and I will tell you the truth. See, the trouble is you don't want to hear the truth. This is the Jack Nicholson News Report. All right, here, let's talk about the vaping. Now, the reason I did a vaping documentary a couple of years ago, I worked for a guy who created the products for vaping. Mostly they are, I would say, flavored water. And this flavored water is not dangerous to your lungs, but it's unnecessary to put water in your lungs unless you're going to drink it and hydrate yourself. But if you have an oral fixation or you want to stop smoking, then this is the way to go. And that's what we're doing. You take the vaping and nicotine at level 6, and then you decrease it to 5 and 4 and 3, 2, 1, and then you're out of smoking. That's what you're supposed to be doing with this thing. That's what vaping was for. It wasn't Juul, or for someone to run around and make a lot of money with flavored water that's got marijuana in it, or it's got THC, or any of the other products that are illegal in some states, but also acceptable at the dispensary. Now, here's the deal. The reason why you're hearing about vaping and it's not being told to you to stop because it's dangerous is because the Federal Drug Administration has not determined it to be dangerous, and nobody who has a vaping company wants to pay the $3, $4, $5 million that it takes, $500 million, to find out whether this is dangerous or not. And why would they? I mean, they're making money. Now, you also got to know that marijuana is in a lot of things. The offshoot of the marijuana plant, besides the hemp, which is supposed to be to make clothing. Well, it was years ago. Now it's medical use. And the other stuff is the CBDs. Now, that comes from that. So they don't want to disrupt the CBD industry. It's very big. Just about on every corner where a mall has closed, they opened a CBD store. As you see, vaping stores are maybe like going away like head shops. But there's still a few of them. You got 350 million people in this country. Do you think they have enough belly buttons? Everybody's got a belly button and everybody's got an opinion. So the fact is that the FDA is not telling you it's wrong. So I called Joseph Califano, who was the head of health, education, and welfare for 2 presidents, and he's the guy that got C. Everett Koopman put on the side of packs of cigarettes that it is going to cause cancer if you smoke, so caution. Now, he's the guy that did all that, and I called him to interview him. Also, on my tape, which is now on my site, on my page, is the interview that I did with the guy who wrote the Curtis. Is that his name? Yeah, I think so. He wrote he was a professor at Harvard. He did the extensive first study, and he was brought to me by Jerry Jampolsky, who was one of the first self-help writers, 90-something years old, wonderful man who traveled with Mother Teresa. And these are quality people talking. So this particular conversation you'll see on my new page. Maybe you're watching the new page now. And then the other one is that you'll see the marijuana documentary. I shot it all with an iPhone and an iPad, and I called it iPod. Now when you go online, you see everybody's got a name iPod. I never copyrighted it. I wasn't thinking at that time that I needed to secure my name, but this is the society we live in now, where everything is for sale and people buy things that they don't use so they can sell them to you when you do need it. And it's a commercial world that we live in. Oh yeah, while I'm on it, let me tell you that I have had to close the Bible store that I had. I was selling Bibles in Afghanistan. Business has been really tough, so I've closed the store. And I want you to know that if you want to know anything more about me, you'll see everything I've ever done in my life, including the very first Barry White video of ecstasy, which was 16 millimeter, turned to video and DVD, and my dog Sex, because now we're talking about some guy who had sex with his dog in Maine, I did a record with Sandy Nelson from Teen Beat. He was the drummer, if you go back that far. And I did a record that's called My Dog Sex. I have another recording of Tiny Tim doing my song, Rats in My Room, which I did with my partner then, Danny Neverth. And we got Tiny Tim to record it in Philadelphia at Virtue Studios. So there's a lot of stuff. We're putting everything online now because we want to let it all hang out. I want people to know that there's a lot of things that we have done in this world that many people have done that they don't get credit for and they don't get rich from, and not everybody is a celebrity. I've had a little touch of it, you know. I've been a semi-celebrity for a long time, under the radar. So this is it. It's the Joey Reynolds, the late Joey Reynolds are calling it. We're calling it that so far, and unless we can't have the name anymore for political reasons. You know, everybody's trying to sell me my own name. JoeyReynolds.com is not owned by me, and I don't have my own name. I'm not. I may not even be here right now. This is an image, and don't fool yourself. It's not about content. It's about image. Content is what you've done or do. Image is what you think you've seen or what someone has presented to you that they've done. Like commercials, they're done with a lot of image. Oh yeah, last piece here. The hydrogen car, which I drove for half a year from General Motors. It was called the Equinox. Now it's a General Motors regular engine with the, I think it's V8, I'm not sure, maybe it's a V6, maybe it's a six cylinder car. But the one I had was the hydrogen car. It's got a lot of people in it. Judith Reagan, who wrote Private Parts and a bunch of other stuff, you know, her, she's a celebrity. Peter Bogdanovich, the last living Walt Disney artist who did Pinocchio and Snow White, Willis Pyle. I've taken everybody in that car and I drove it for half a year. Hydrogen is the way to go. There's, first of all, there's no pollution from it. It's all water-based. Here we go with that vaping thing again. It's all water. And it just didn't, I think Obama cut out a lot of the frills when the General Motors showed up for the changing of the guard of their company when they came in for a bailout. And he cut out all of their programs, which one of them was the hydrogen car. They're on phase 6 and Toyota was on phase 2 or 3. But that's what we should have. Never mind the electric car, the driverless cars. The thing that you really would love is a hydrogen car. And that's my report so far. So stay on my page. It's the late Joey Reynolds. Oh yeah, let a smile be your umbrella, but don't get a mouthful of rain.